All right, everyone. Welcome back to the midweek market wrap up. Again, if you're new to this channel, welcome. My name's Michael Nauss. I'm a chartered market technician and a quantitative trader. This kind of video series is just I take a break every Wednesday and just give you my thoughts of the crypto, FX, and equity markets. And, then we get back to it for the rest of the week before I go live, where I do my real deep dives on Sunday, generally about 2 Eastern. If you're interested on getting alerted for when those are going to go live, just click on my website, statsedgetrading.com, in the description below. Go sign up for my email list, and I'll send you an email. I don't ever give out your emails, and I don't spam you. Basically, if I just do a new blog post or if I'm going to go live at some point, I'll put a video out then. So let's just get right into it because it was an interesting week for both the crypto and the equity markets. We had a little flash crash here in Bitcoin. We had this kind of push down from here, right? Small bounce. I had talked about a short that I had kind of in this area as this RSI divergence was taking place, and we broke out of this wedge. That turned out phenomenally. All of my orders got triggered out kind of in this area. I think I maybe got one fill down here, but mostly in that area. So I am now flat on Bitcoin. I always just like to disclose if I'm in anything one way or the other. Interesting to note that Bitcoin bounced off this very interesting area that I have here, kind of highlighted in green. The way I'm kind of looking at this is that as long as we're above this and below that, there's really nothing to do in Bitcoin in particular. You can look around in the other crypto space and just see if there's something going on there as they're starting to become more and more uncorrelated. But for now, as long as we're in this range, if you're a range player, that's great. For me, I want to see overhead supply or overhead demand taken care of. Only other thing I want to point out in the crypto space, if we go to Ethereum, let's type that in right. If we go into here to Ethereum, it's actually held up much better than Bitcoin. So I just wrote a note there, right? Ethereum, when crashing, Ethereum is stronger. So this one's getting closer to a breakout. So then it makes you take a look at, some of the more smart contract type coins, and, maybe those are going to show some relative strength. But that's what I'm looking at in the crypto space. The only thing in the FX space that I'm really watching is the yen. It's had this kind of descending triangle going on here for a while. Broke out, came back to test it, and now it looks like it might be breaking out again. So if we can kind of sustain over this downtrend line, I might get involved in that one there. Now let's go over to trade ideas here. Again, on my website, there is a link for each of these programs that you're seeing me use. I use TrendSpider for kind of my advanced charting, as long as my scanning for, um, you know, uh, scanning for things like crypto and forex and these type of things that Trade Ideas doesn't have access to. And then I use Trade Ideas for my stock scanning. And then it's also my trading platform where I use their auto trading system to enter trades for me. So in looking at the SPY right here, you can see I need to look at it, but we barely may have closed at all-time highs. So it's funny. Our last video was occurring when we were right down here, and kind of my note was, as we're pulling back, you want to look at the prior breakout point to see if that holds as resistance. Most people in the comment section, which again, I read every single comment, so feedback, all of that is great in the comment section. Most people saw that same thing and agreed. There was one angry gentleman that said I was pumping the market and that it was going to crash, and this was the beginning of the crash and sell everything I have now. And that may have been the worst take of 2021, but we've continued to bounce off there. So the question is, how do we deal with this all-time highs? Now, could we rip right up through it? Certainly. I would expect some digestion here. You can see we had this awesome day yesterday on Tuesday, and then we had this little tiny inside candle today. I'll zoom in to make that a little bit more obvious for you guys. Little inside day, and that's to be expected. After a large move, you want to kind of push in and just have it digest. So you know, candles are fractal. So if you zoom into an intraday chart, you'll see that this same kind of pattern is occurring and is just making a little bit of a flag. So again, nice action, exactly what I would expect to see. So the question is, do we pull off this and make another leg? Do we break out, or do we just chop around for a while? I wouldn't be surprised with anything, because anything can happen in the market, but I think the trade's pretty obvious now. Right here is our range. As long as we are above these lows and below these highs, we're in a range. You I don't think you can be bearish as long as we're above these lows. Just like last time when we sold off, I said you can't be bearish if we're above those lows. Now that's kind of moved up to this area in my mind. One thing that's interesting, if you look to the RSP, which contains the same stocks as the SPY in the RSP, you can kind of note that, hey, the weightings of this matter, right? So the SPY is cap weighted, so larger companies like Apple have more of effect on the market. The RSP is equal weighted, so every one of the 500 stocks has an equal weight. This one has a little bit to go off of all-time highs still, and even more of an inside day. So, basically, to sum it up, this Apple move has really what's been pumping the SPY over the RSP. So just note that even though the SPY is making new highs, there's still some damage underlying in the market that has to be repaired. And that's super evident here in IWM, which kind of teased everyone for a while there. IWM, which is your small cap index, has been putting in this range for pretty much a year now. It did a little breakout out of the range there and then just came right back in. So I wouldn't be shocked if we spend the rest of the year digesting this range. And then you want to see a resolution one way or the other, and then you kind of make your opinion there. But for now, you got to understand that even though the SPY is going higher, the rest of the market's kind of range bound. So just adjust your trading according to that. Now, when it comes to the individual sectors, the ones that pointed out to me in my scanning today is XLE. So XLE is our energy sector. It's relatively strong compared to the SPY. Just from looking at it, it held very well. It didn't pull back nearly as much as the SPY. And then it's putting in this kind of declining trend line. So I think if we break out from here, we could see some strength in this. And then XLRE, which is our real estate index, this has been really rocketing. So real estate's definitely names that you wanna check out right now. We had this ascending triangle. We broke out of there, so we've got to look at that. Lastly, SMH, which is just the semiconductor index. This one's just been really strong. When this pullback was occurring in the market, the semis stayed super, super strong. And now it's kind of putting in this bull flag, so we'll see if this pops higher. As for stuff that I'm watching, I'll give you a few things. This Playboy I really like. It's been put in this big rounded bottom right here, and then it's been kind of tightening in through here ever since then. So if this one breaks out, I'll be interested in that. Flow is a very good name, strong looking name as well. Another kind of big rounded bottom followed by consolidation right here. What else was really good to me? Oh, for you bottom fishers, this REE, not too sure what this is, some sort of automotive manufacturing company from Israel, but just a super long base going on here, and some strong action today. So if this one breaks out, the thing I like about these long bases is that there's a lot of accumulation in this area. I'll never buy a stock that's just selling off like this. But after it puts in a nice long base and then breaks out of that base, I start to get interested because it's digested these losses and there's been some accumulation in this area. This one had a pretty decent short float, I thought. Nope, we got no data for that, so that's fine. But just an interesting looking play. Had earnings out of the way, so you don't have earnings for a while yet. And I like this pattern of a doji candle, which represents indecision, and then an engulfing candle of that, which represents a lot of decision. So I expect to see some more action if we can get above 450. As always, none of this is investment advice at all. So As always, again, thank you guys for coming out. If you like this kind of content as opposed to the rest, share it around, tell everybody, hit the like button, all that stuff that people on YouTube ask you to do. Feedback, super, super welcome. And I read again every single comment. Link in the description below, again, for all the software I used and my website where you can come over and check it out. I have a free trading course on there. You don't need to enter an email or anything. It's just part of what I offer. So a free what is a stock all the way to kind of advanced trading ideas in that course. And then if you like that and you want some more content, you can click on the Stats Edge Pro button where I offer basically my research. So what you just saw me do there, I spend about an hour going through about 500 charts a night. I summarize everything that I think about the market the next day and some stocks that I think that I will be watching going into that day, and I send that off to you. So again, thank you guys very much for coming out, and I will talk to you soon.